Hello and welcome to round 13 here at Grand Prix Ottawa. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Ben Stark, and we are watching world champion Shahar Shenhar at 11-1-0 against Matthew Costa at 11-1-0. Really, these guys are looking to, win one and draw?
Yeah, it's a big match. The guy who wins is a pretty big favorite to make top 8, and the guy who loses may still need to 2-0 or at least 1-0-1.
Right. Leaping Master comes down for Shenhar on turn 2. No play from Costa, who is banned. And in comes the Master.
Shahar Shenhar looks like he's going to have to play Scoured Barons here, so probably no play.
He gets to make up for it next turn, with Mardu Warshrieker and a like a morph.
Yeah. Or maybe just High Sentinels of Irration, depending on what he wants to do.
Oh, sure, if you like that kind of powerful rare.
Yeah. I mean, either play is going to be pretty strong.
So, the Leaping Master attacks. The morph steps in its path. Yeah, and he is going to go to just advance his board position with two creatures. Mardu Warshrieker, the raid trigger gives him 3 mana, and he uses that to play morph, which we know is Krumar Bonkin.
Yeah, I mean, it seems solid. Obviously, you know that they're going to be able to attack this turn, so you're putting in 5 power instead of 3.
Right.
And then, you can always play the High Sentinels this turn.
And then, so a morph for Matthew Costa, and a tapped land. 5th land for Shahar Shenhar says, you can't block my morph.
Right.
And then the High Sentinels of Irration comes down and says, how are you going to deal with me?
Yeah, and it looks like Matt doesn't have an island, which Shahar is probably guessing that Matt doesn't have a swamp, not an island, since he's got Plains and Forests in play. But nonetheless, I don't know how much Matt can do here with just Plains and Forests. There are a lot of great games in this format, but one of the unfortunate parts I find is when one player has 3 colors and the other person has 2, usually the games aren't that close.
So Shahar just passed the turn in front of all that mana, respecting a kill shot.
Yeah, I like that. He's going to be able to use the High Sentinel's ability end of turn here. There's no reason to...
he also has Take Up Arms.
Well, that's fine too. I don't know whether I would use the High Sentinel's ability or cast the Take Up Arms, but either way, there's no reason to charge in a kill shot there. Plus, that could unmorph possibly and eat certain things.
Right. And it looks like there's a Trumpet Blast in Shahar's hand.
Right, so now he'll probably be able to make a really nice attack. Just going to clear the way with the Mardu Charm.
This game could be over very
I wonder what he's doing right now. He could be dealing 4 to the morph in play, but he also might just be looking at Matt's hand, knowing that he can't really cast very much, and he could take the kill shot if he has it. I'm not sure which play I would make, to be honest. I know that Shahar is a commanding favorite regardless.
Yeah, you're right. He takes a look at the hand, and he sees Awaken the Bear, a pair of Jeskai Elders, a Glacial Stalker, and a Treasure Cruise.
This isn't a play you make that often, looking at their hand with Mardu Charm Unlimited, but in this exact position, if it whiffed, you can't lose, because you can just turn. So I think it's an all right play. I'm not really sure which play I would have made.
And everybody attacks.
Yeah.
And there's the Trumpet Blast.
Yeah, for the win.
He's like, I believe you are dead.
Yeah. And even if it's not lethal, it's going to be game. So if he blocks a 3-power guy, it's 5, 8, plus 15, which is 20. No, plus 10. So it's not lethal, but I really don't see how Matt's going to get back into this game.
Right. He's at 1?
I mean, it could top to end hostilities,
Sure.
5, 8, plus 10. It's 18 damage, I believe.
Yeah, it puts Matt to 1.
Am I miscounting? Matt's packing him up.
Yeah.
3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 5 guys get through, so that's plus 10, right?
Yeah.
I think it was 18. I don't think it was lethal. I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, it may be that Matt's like, I have no outs to this.
Sure, yeah. But that's a pretty bad spot for a scoop, even if that's true, because you have 3 planes or whatever in play, so you don't want to tell your opponent that you don't have end hostilities.
Right.
Real easy there to just block, bury your guy or Awaken the Bear, who cares, and then draw your card and then concede.
Yeah.
You don't even have to look at it if you know you don't have end hostility. You just draw it into your hand and put it back on top and go to the next. They don't know. You don't really have to take it in or anything. But yeah, either way, that was a pretty good turn for Shahar. I mean, once he Mardu charmed and learned that the coast was clear, he could trumpet blast for the win. If he didn't make that play of looking at Matt's hand with the Mardu charm, I'm not really sure what Matt could have or what Matt could do. A single kill shot is probably not going to disrupt that trumpet blast turn too bad. Oh, look at this. Reboot for Owen Turtenwald.
Yeah, there you go. And Bloodsoaked Champion is getting its raid on.
Yeah. I mean, look at Reed's deck. I mean, Bloodsoaked Champion, double Mardu Skull Hunter. I mean, that's strong.
Saddle Brute, Ponyback Brigade. Looks like both players are Mardu.
Yeah, although Reed has more of the cards I'm used to seeing Mardu have, whereas Owen looks like maybe a little bit different Mardu deck with the Dead Drop and the Sultai Scavenger.
Right.
Bloodfire Expert, not really a great card in Mardu, I don't think. It's okay. I'm just happy to see Reed and Owen doing battle.
Look down at the main table. It looks like Shahar's doing some work on his deck.
That's weird, because we saw the draft, and I didn't think there was major changes for him to make.
Yeah, but it looked like a significant chunk of cards were getting swapped in and out there. You know, as many as 4 or 5.
That's really interesting.
So Dead Drop number 2 for
Owen. Yeah. Dead Drop's not great against Bloodsoaked Champion and Mardu Skull Hunter.
Doesn't even have to tap out. He still has 4 mana in his graveyard.
Yeah. On the other hand, Owen does have bigger creatures than Reed in play right now.
Looks like Reed's a little constrained on red mana. He's got a Hordling Outburst in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Reed really could have to think about on this turn. I guess maybe whether he's going to leave the Mardu Skull Hunter up, but then he can't bring back the Bloodsoaked Champion. I think this should be a pretty easy attack. Play the Unyielding Kumar and raid the Bloodsoaked Champion.
Right, and that's exactly what he does.
The only reason
even as you were saying it, it's like you were mind controlling.
Yeah, the only other things you would be doing here is active treasoning, but that would be lethal. And you wouldn't be thinking, presumably, you'd just be active treasoning for lethal, or leaving the Mardu Skull Hunter back to block the Bloodfire Expert, but then you don't get your Bloodsoaked Champion back, so that seems a lot worse. This seemed like a pretty easy turn.
So there's the second red source.
This might be more interesting, because not knowing the life totals, I'm assuming that obviously Owen's not like at 6 or below, because then there would be no reason for Reed to be thinking. You don't know whether you want to act and deal a bunch of damage, you know, what your options are.
Right.
The pet.
Oh no!
Reed can't be happy about that.
What's the worst thing he could have?
Yeah. Just thinking, oh, well, if it's a War Behemoth, I'll just get him back with the raid ability.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Not planning on giving him a life. And that's a great blocker, too. And it's not big, so, you know, acting it isn't going to deal that much damage.
Yeah.
Probably one of the last cards Reed wanted to see there. How often do you say that? Sidisi's Pet, one of the last cards he wanted to see there.
So a bit of revelation here for Owen.
Owen seems to love this stuff. A lot of the decks I see him have in this format, they involve a Bitter Revelation and Dead Drop. I mean, they're good cards. It just seems to be a direction he gets pulled into a lot.
Wow, Ankle Shanker. And that's the attack for the win from Owen. Took 2 Dead Drops, a Bitter Revelation, and a Sidisi's Pet to do it.
The old Dead Drop Ankle Shanker strategy.
All right, we're back at our main table with Shahar Shenhar owning a 1-game advantage over Matthew Costa.
Kind of a brutal game.
Yeah. Matt Costa had his green, but green is really, he has 1 forest in his deck. He's got 1 Blossoming Sands, 1 Thornwood Falls. He's really blue-white.
All right, well, let's hope Matt can draw islands and plains this game. Well, his islands are still evading him, it looks like. But it looks like he's going to run with it. He may have already mulliganed.
I think he already mulliganed his deck. He doesn't look...
No, and I mean, if he has mulliganed, that's certainly right. You're not going to mull a 2-lander on a 6-card hand trying to go to 5. On a 7-card hand, I might mull something like what he has.
And there's your island.
Okay.
Our first island of the match.
Yeah. And Char's like, Bant, I see.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was expecting.
And Mardu Skull Punter, which is what we call him when he doesn't get a card.
Yeah. And it's turn 3, too, so Shahar probably doesn't have any morphs or anything. You're obviously not in a hurry to get that guy in play.
So, in comes the morph. Another morph and another blue source.
Morph,
He's
morph.
drowning in islands this game.
That's very clever.
That's very generous.
Very.
And so we see a Weave Fate that Matt Costa is going to use to sort of rebuild his hand here. And he does not look, his body language is not a happy Magic player.
Well, from what we've seen so far, his deck doesn't look very good. He's got a Bant deck, and it's featuring Weave Fate and Singing Bell Strike. So, I mean...
You're saying he may have started out grumpy?
Yeah. I mean, even last game, we saw Witness of the Ages, and his deck doesn't seem that aggressive, where an Awaken the Bear would be good in it. Really not the best deck I've seen so far. I got to assume maybe he's got a Sagu Mauler or something to play these colors. I don't know.
No, I'm afraid he does not. Yeah, it's kind of a...
Not the best.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing on this list that leaps out at you and go, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't draw this.
Yeah.
You know, there's not any section of this deck, any slice of it you take where your opponent is terrified. All the sort of fear that you might have is just the potential of what he could be on morphing.
Right.
And there's a High Spire Mantis.
I'm not even sure
Shenhar.
what his morphs are, but I don't think they're very good. I mean, Misfire Weaver's a decent card. It's just not that scary on the board. And what was his other morph this game? Do we even know?
May have been a Mystic of the Hidden Way.
Oh, okay.
So, Weave Fate, draws 2 cards. There's the Witness of the Ages.
Yeah, well, this isn't going to be a bad turn for him. You know, he can Singing Bell Strike the High Spire Mantis, and he can make another morph and hit for 4, kind of advancing his board.
Yeah. You're finding a way.
I mean, sometimes you're banned. I mean, as someone who's only done maybe a couple hundred drafts in this format, I can't say I've ever been banned. But, you know, give it time. It'll probably happen.
I mean, I've definitely been like blue-white.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think I've only been blue-white maybe once or twice, too. I mean, the thing is, the unallied colors have the gold cards, and then you have that cycle of gold commons, the morphs. So, like, it's pretty hard, I think, to deviate from that in this format. I'm not saying it never happens,
right,
but it's tough.
So, Shahar's going to pass the turn. He's holding take up arms.
And that's like, well, I don't really want this Misfire Weaver to trade with anything, but I also don't want to do nothing while Shahar has all these cards in
I also don't care about my other morphs.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird spot. I mean, it's possible that he should just be turning, but it certainly doesn't feel good to do that. And he's just going to unmorph the flyer. It's kind of interesting. With your opponent having all his mana up, you know, it's definitely an interesting play. Definitely starting to think Shahar's, Matt's other morph might not be Mystic of the Hidden Way.
Yeah, it must not be. Could be a Woolly Loxodon.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be that. Although, now he can't unmorph that, so it would just trade with a Martyr
Yeah, it's probably a Glacial Stalker is what it is. It also might be a Dragonized Savant.
Yeah, I could see it being a Dragonized Savant the way this game's played, but I mean, if it's one of those big morphs, I mean, he spent his mana, so now he can't unmorph it, and he's going to offer it for a 2/1. I don't know. Can't say I really love this line here by Matt. I feel like, you know, even if he doesn't attack, he could maybe just pass the turn and then unmorph the Witness into Shahar's next turn.
Right.
And he keeps the Misfire Weaver mana up. So if Shahar just left all his mana up. So if Shahar's removal on a turn, then he has the Weaver to blanket.
Right.
I mean, he saw the take-up arms last game, so I think he may suspect that Shahar has that again, not removal.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. You kind of want 2/2 blockers for those 1/1s anyway.
So Shahar just takes it. Timely Horde Mate comes down, gets nothing.
Yeah.
And take up arms. So three warrior tokens come down. And there is, of course, the Trumpet Blast in Shahar's hand.
Yeah, but Trumpet Blast is
not very good in this game.
I mean, because if Shahar turns, Matt can just block like the Horde Mate on a 1/1 and maybe the Morph on the Skull Hunter or just take the Skull Hunter, and then the Blast isn't really doing that much. You know, it's just letting him trade up 1/1/1 for 1/3/2, maybe dealing a couple points of damage. Certainly not a bad play, but it's not very exciting.
Shahar is close to being able to pay the tax on his Highspire Mantis.
Yeah, and Shahar's hand isn't that exciting either, and he kind of wants to use his mana since he's going to be able to pay that tax like you're talking about. So I would expect to see a burn away from Shahar here. I think he's trying to decide what to burn away most likely.
Well, it's not going to be the Flyer because you just want to trade the Highspire Mantis for that, right?
Right, plus like it's not stopping anything right now. I think, you know, I'd probably burn away the on-tap Morph and then get in with the Skull Hunter. But I could definitely see just even passing the turn, saving the burn away, because if Matt attacks, you're going to be able to make like a double block with the 1/1s on a Morph, and then when he unmorphs, you can burn away and things like that.
I think he also has a Smite.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you know, you definitely want to use your mana this turn. Like, there's no way if Matt does nothing, he's going to untap and not burn away into turn or Smite. But I could definitely see passing and just using the burn away or the Smite on Matt's turn here. It's probably the correct play. Yeah, now we'll probably see just that. Shahar, the only bad thing if Shahar makes some double blocks and stuff is his Trumpet Blast gets a lot worse. But I don't think that's the game Shahar really wants to play, the Trumpet Blast game right here. If I'm Shahar, I'm probably going to put the Skull Hunter on one Morph and 2 1/1s on the other, and then whichever one gets on Morphed, I can just burn away, which will still leave me with you know, plenty of guys in play, and you know, kind of killing Matt's turn, killing both those Morphs, you know, or Smited, not necessarily burn away. If it can be Smited, it will. If not, it'll be burn away. But yeah, the play is the double block, and then you know, you use the removal on whichever one he on Morphs, whichever removal spell you can use. Right. Obviously, you'd almost always rather use Smite over burn away.
Right. In fact, he's going to put 3 tokens in the path. I guess respecting maybe a Force Away here.
Maybe. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, you know you're going to kill it when he unmorphs it anyway. If he doesn't unmorph it, it makes no difference.
Or is his opponent more likely to unmorph it if you put a 3rd one in the path?
I mean, yeah, I don't think that play makes much of a difference either way.
Yeah. So there's the Witness of the Ages.
Okay.
Trying to eat
Smite.
It's
definitely gonna get smited.
Yep. Skull Hunter, but it gets smitten.
Yeah.
And there's a disdainful stroke from Matt Costa.
Not what I really wanted to see, but it's not that huge, not that big of a deal.
Oh, Dragon Eye Savant was the other morph.
Yeah.
And 3 points of damage get through it. Shahar's down to 6 here.
Yeah, and Shahar doesn't really have a whole lot in play anymore either. It's not really a great situation for him now.
He's drawn a Mardu Charm. He can untap his Highspire Mantis.
Yeah.
But still not a great situation.
No. I mean, even if Matt doesn't have anything else, Shahar needs to chump block the Witness of the Ages, trade the Highspire for the Misfire Weaver. He goes to 3. Then next turn he has to deal with both the Witness of the Ages and the Timely Horde Mate. And that's all if...
that's assuming that nothing else from Matthew Costa.
Shahar actually drew or has a Mardu Warshrieker, which is a pretty good one for him, because now he can just send this 1/1 in, and then he can at least deal with 2 of the 3 things this turn.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, this is actually a lot better for Shahar.
He still falls to 3 in this scenario, but advances his board.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. He does fall to 3, but yeah, he gets to deal with 2 of the 3 things. He gets to play the War Shrieker and then burn away the Witness, let's say. The War Shrieker trades with the Horde Mitter, stops it. So then all he has to do is untap the Highspire Mantis to block the Mistfire Weaver next turn. So, I mean, Shahar kind of stable on board, but can't really beat anything. Matt trying to figure out whether he should eat that 1/1 or not. We know he should, because we know Shahar's only attacking to trigger raid.
Right.
But Matt's trying to figure out what's up.
And ultimately decides to push.
Oh, and Shahar actually could just Trumpet Blast here and then use the Mardu Charm, because he also has that.
Right.
Which I think
this might be your best case scenario for the
Trumpet Blast is going to do in this game. Right. I actually think I like that better. Obviously, if Matt didn't block, then Shahar had the other plan. But with Matt blocking, yeah, just go ahead and use Trumpet Blast, because you can't expect to get any other value out of that in this game. Now he can just Mardu Charm the 4/4, and then all he's got to do is untap to deal with the Mistfire Weaver. Untap that Highspire Mantis.
Okay. Mardu Charm deals 4 to Witness of the Aegis, and we're down to a pair of 3-power flyers, one of which costs 6 to untap.
Yeah.
All right.
Shahar not able to beat very much from this position, but once again, if Matt has nothing, Shahar's okay, and he's up a spell or 2, so...
Seeker of the Way.
Well, it doesn't feed him. It's certainly not good for him. So now Shahar's just going to have to pass the turn, I think.
Right. And hope that he only goes to 1.
Yeah. And then if that happens, he can untap and drop 2 guys, though, so he can get back in the game. And he still has the burn away to spare, so this game's not over.
Taps all his, untap, taps all his mana, takes 2 from the Seeker, goes to 1.
I mean, I could definitely see Shahar stabilizing. He's got Burn Away, Mardu Warshrieker, and Leaping Master in hand, I believe. And all Matt has is a Smite, which doesn't really do anything, plus whatever he drew this turn, which I have no idea. Ooh, was that a Mystic of the Hidden Way?
It is a Mystic of the Hidden Way.
Yeah. If Shahar draws a land, he could burn it away. He could play Leaping Master and Burn Away. He could also play Warshrieker and Leaping Master, in which case he'd be dead to the Mystic. What do you think he'll do? Just the Leaping Master? No, don't do it!
Oh, no!
Not necessarily the wrong play by Shahar, because, you know, you might want to save your Burn Away for better creatures.
Yeah.
But, you know, we knew he had the Mystic because we saw it, not because we had a Soul Read.
Do you think what do you think you'd do in that situation without the advance of being able to see the cards?
I don't know. If I know nothing about his morphs, I mean, I know I have to block both his creatures, so I mean, I can throw the Leaping Master on the morph and the Warshrieker on the Seeker and see what it is. If he sends just the morph, I can double block it. A War Behemoth is pretty bad for me there, or a Woolly Loxodon.
I just feel like there's so many things that can go wrong there that you actually have to burn away the morph.
Well, one thing you have to read into a little bit is Matt did play it face down, and let's say, I don't think he had 6 up, but let's say it's Woolly Loxodon. Are you really going to let it die to like a debilitating injury or something? You'll probably just face up it.
Right.
So when he face downs it, you got to figure it's either something that he can afford. You got to figure basically it's something he can afford to unmorph. You know, like let's say he had exactly 4 up or exactly 5 up or whatever it was when he face downed it.
Right.
You have to assume it's not something that he can't unmorph, basically, that he could have hard cast like a Woolly Loxodon.
All right. Well, we're back taking a look at the match between Reed Duke and Owen Turtenwald. Owen is up a game. Ankle Shanker making things miserable for Reed Duke. Ghostfire Blade on a Spellwing Saddle Brute. There's a Mardu Heart Piercer in play and a Mardu Skull Hunter.
I mean, I have no idea what the life totals are like. I like Reed's side of the board. And he's got a 6/7 attacker.
And he sends it in. So I guess we're going to assume from that Owen is below 7.
Yeah. I mean, the Ionic Bondkin might not be doing a whole lot. Owen's probably below 6, but below 7, but I mean, maybe he doesn't want to fall into Aerostorm range or something.
Oh, sure. Moves the Ghostfire Blade, puts it on the Mardu Skull Hunter. Winter rolled up a game in this match. We saw him cast 2 dead drops.
Yeah. What? 1 dead drop's not enough? That's okay. I've got a second.
One card in hand for turn 1. Ankle Shaker, pretty difficult to deal with when you're attacking with a bunch of creatures.
Yeah.
Not so amazing on defense.
Yeah, I don't love an ankle shanker. Sure,
Right.
if it's the top of your curve and you're a token deck, it's great, like you just said.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of times you're on defense, or you can attack with it, but then you need your other guys to block. It's just attacking for 2. Like, there's a lot of times where ankle shanker's not that impressive.
Face up Hoarded Ambusher for Shahar Shenhar back on our main table. He leads things off. A Jeskai Elder.
And Matt Costa with the old
Matt Costa.
Thornwood Falls Plains, producing all 3 Bant colors on turn 2. Shahar in the old predicament of, I want to block that guy because I don't want to let you loot. I don't want to block that guy because he might grow bigger and eat my guy.
Yeah, this is where a banner would really shine.
Yeah, a banner here would be okay.
No attack, no play from Costa.
From either of them, really.
Yeah,
Is that a Bitter Revelation in Shahar's hand?
it is. A bit of Revelation and a Bellowing Saddle Brute.
Oh, he has a Bellowing Saddle Brute.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he did see that Disdainful Stroke last game.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to play around that in a spot like this. These spells are not that important. I think he'll just lay the Saddle Brute.
Yep. Attacks with the. And it does get Disdainfully Stroked.
It's unfortunate for Shahar because this is the kind of situation where maybe you would play it, see if it gets countered or not, but then you have to attack first in order to avoid the 4 life loss.
Right.
So in this situation, I don't think he could even play around it a little bit like that. I think Shahar did the right thing here.
Looks like a rush of battle is going to get this started here. As the ability of the Jeskai Elder, when you deal damage to a player, you get to draw a card and discard a card. It's like, I've drawn one, I just don't want to discard it. Look like he's got another Elder in his hand.
I mean, you could probably discard the second Elder or the Rush of Battle. Both of those are very reasonable discards here.
Although if you keep the Elder and the Rush of Battle...
I mean, I'm not going to discard land 4. I mean, Smite doesn't necessarily have that many targets against Shahar.
Right, you just countered one of the big ones.
Yeah, and I mean, you do kind of want creatures with Rush. I guess Smite is also a reasonable discard. Not a very...
How do you feel about Dragon Eye Savants?
Yeah. You want to look at his hand before we discard Smite so that we know whether to keep Smite or not?
Yeah, and then a Morph here.
It's going to be a tough game for sure. The Trumpet Blast Bitter Revelation deck, it's just sometimes your cards, they're good cards in their respective decks and on their own, but the synergy lacking a little bit between those cards. All right, I'll block and I'll keep my life high so I can Bitter Revelation.
It looks like he's like, I want to see what you got.
Yeah.
Bitter Revelation, Trumpet Blast, a couple of lands.
Big turn for Shahar here, though. War Shrieker into Bitter Revelation.
Right.
Shahar's like, yeah, dude, this is my hand. I'm trying to go to post-combat. I got stuff to do.
So there you go.
This is like going off. Add some mana, draw some cards. Elusive life. But hey,
man, I hope I get my empty the Warrens. Looks like a Leaping Master, a debilitating injury. That's all I kind of caught there.
Well, he doesn't need lands, so I mean, he'll certainly be taking 2 spells. And he bid the Leaping Master and a Scoured Baron. So definitely, a Mardu Charm was the other spell.
Okay.
So he picks up a couple nice removal spells.
Second Jeskai Elder.
Are they required to use those morph tokens?
In the feature match area, yeah, they are.
I was just curious. Having played with morphs a few times before, I don't like them. They're obviously good, I get it.
Okay, debilitating injury on the morph. Takes down Glacial Stalker. Yep.
Look at this board.
Yeah. Wish you had your Russian battle now, don't you?
Yeah, get in with that Dragon Eye Savant.
Sage Eye Harrier.
This looks like it's going to be a fun one. We've got a 1-2, a 1-2, an 0-6, and a 1-5 in play.
So, toughness is at a premium.
Matt Costa said, good luck attacking me.
And both players are at 19.
And Shahar dealt 2 damage to himself. I'll take your 1. I often talk about how cards perform in a stalemate isn't that important anymore, and like the games are usually pretty high pressure and limited these days.
Yeah.
Oh, I stand corrected. This is a stalemate, and there's 1 point of damage poking Shahar in the air. And Shahar is thinking about attacking with this 3-3 into the 0-6. I guess he might ride it down.
Yeah, he's got Ride Down and Trumpet Blast, but don't you attack with both if you're going to do that?
Well, I think he's worried that if he has just the Horde Ambusher up, those Jeskai Elders could both attack.
They start looting, yeah.
Yeah. That could be kind of dicey for Shahar because, in a game like this, if you let Matt draw 2 cards here,
oh, absolutely,
get rid of 2 dead lands, that's a big deal.
Yeah, he's really hoping that the bad parts of Matt's deck are in his hand.
Yeah. And I think Matt has a Weave Fate in hand, so he's already going to be able to attack. It's probably not going to be a great turn for Shahar.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm not sure how much I like sending the 1-5 flyer, the Sage Eye Harrier, because most likely Matt's going to Weave Fate here, and he's not really necessarily going to have any blockers. So I think the 1-5 on D might make more sense, but definitely a good attack with the Jeskai Elders.
Yeah.
They're going to put Shahar in a bad spot here. So Matt says, hold on, no, don't take damage yet. I've got something to do. And I'm not sure why he's really thinking if that is a Weave Fate.
Well, he's got a Timely Horde Mate.
Oh, so he might just let it go.
He might be willing to let it go to.
But I don't like this. I mean, Shahar's probably got something, right? Let's say he casts his Weave Fate. Shahar probably uses a removal or something to take out that Elder. Right. It goes to the yard anyway for Timely Horde Mate for later. Here you're kind of just putting it in the yard for him. Right. The only upside is the 1 point of loot.
So he drew Seeker of the Way.
And the loot's not even, not point, but the 1 activation of loot. And that's not even very good because he doesn't have any lands to loot away in hand. He's looting away a Seeker of the Way.
So in the end, he ends up discarding the Seeker of the Way to the ability so he can return it with Timely Horde Mate.
Yeah, I don't like this play at all. Maybe Matt made this play because he didn't leave the Sage Eye Harrier up, so he wasn't going to have any defense. But I think if I were Matt, I would have just sent the 2 Jeskai Elders and left the Sage Eye Harrier back, and then when Shahar blocked, you could just Weave Fate, and then you get cards to loot.
I don't know if when you were a kid, you ever read Family Circus, and they would have these strips where how did little Billy get from the backyard to the supermarket, and it would be this map, and it would be this really incredibly convoluted trail that doubled over. That's the story of how Seeker of the Way got into play here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of value left on the table on that last turn. I also have no idea what you're talking about, but I wasn't alive in the 60s, so...
Is a face-up Witness of the Ages.
That I do like. I think people morph way too much.
Sure.
You know, you end up spending more mana later to unmorph it. You're not tricking anybody. Like, you know, it might die to a debilitating injury or something. I think if there's one lesson people could learn from this GP, it's, you know, if you can face up your morphs, if you've got that much mana, you usually face them up. I mean, obviously, if you have no other spells in hand, a billion land, and enough lands to unmorph immediately, you can face it down and then unmorph it. But as a whole, I think it's kind of like holding too many lands in your hand.
Right.
I think the fancy plays cost people a lot more than they help them. If you've got all, you know, if you're in a spot like this where you've got exactly 6 mana, a couple spells in it, just play your 6-drop face up. Don't morph it.
Fistful of cards for Shahar Shenhar, including a Crackling Doom, a Smite the Monstrous,
Mardu Charm.
Mardu Charm, yeah.
I think the other card actually might be Burn Away.
So, just an arsenal.
Yeah.
And that Mardu Warshreek is just giving Costa fits here.
Yeah, Matt's creatures aren't really the best. I mean, those are all fine cards, just not really the best at attacking.
Ends up just attacking with the Timely Horde Mate and the Witness.
Yeah, I like this attack. You kind of want to make Shahar use some things. Trades are great for Matt here because they help clear the way for his littler guys. Kind of want to see what Shahar has. Matt's not in a rush. He does want to advance his game, but he certainly doesn't need to send extra guys to make it happen this turn. This attack I do like. Maybe he should have sent the Sage Eye Harrier, maybe not. I mean, it's a much better blocker than it is attacker, but like obviously he's still got 2 guys untapped. He's got spells to play. If Shahar attacks, he could like block and then Weave Fate, and maybe, you know, that's pretty good for him. Seeker blocking the War Shrieker and then just a Weave Fate. Not sure whether I would have sent the Sage Eye Harrier this turn or not, but I do like not attacking with the small guys, not forcing that issue this turn.
So Kill Shot, sorry, is going to take down the Witness. And looks like the Timely Horde Mate and the Horde Ambusher are going to trade.
Yeah. Also, if Shahar was to attack, that means the Warshrieker's not backstopping the Seeker and Jeskai Elder. So, yeah. I mean, I think he could have probably sent the Sage Eye Harrier this turn, but other than that, you know.
Right. And now Seeker of the Way comes down for Shahar Shenhar. Looks a lot better in his deck with a handful of removal.
Yeah. Matt obviously not expecting to get to loot, I guess, because he just keeps putting lands into play and not really holding a single one. I mean, it's not going to be easy for that Jeskai Elder to get in, but you never know.
Costa may be thinking about his Treasure Cruise at this point, that he has to just cast it.
That's fair, but does he have a lot of Delve? Because he's got a bunch of cards in the yard.
Okay, so Weave Fate.
We're definitely going to see something out of Shahar. I think he's just deciding whether he wants to Burn Away or Mardu Charm.
Yeah, he has many options.
Or Crackling Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll certainly see one of the 3. I'd probably Crackling Doom, I think. Mardu Charm can do some other things and Burn Away, dealing 6. But Crackling Doom's cheap. Maybe he wants to use all his mana and Burn Away. I can definitely see why he's in the tank here. You could really use any of these 3 at this point. I definitely would kill it, but I think any of the 3 are very justifiable.
All right, and there comes Crackling Doom.
I think that Crackling Doom was probably the one you wanted to use, but also the cheapest of the 3,
right.
So close call.
2 cards for Costa from Weave Fate. And an Alabaster Kirin. She's hoping we'll be able to go the rest of the way, but we know it does not seem likely that it...
No, but, you know, Costa's got plenty of bodies, and it's kind of funny how not great creatures shine against removal. Like, we're looking at all these cards out of Shahar that we would consider first picks, you know, great cards, Burn Away, Mardu Charm, Crackling Doom. But when they're only trading off with mediocre creatures...
I'll show you!
Yeah. Matt's deck, all of his creatures are solid. You know, his deck doesn't revolve around one broken creature or one or 2 big creatures. So Shahar's removal is not looking that impressive at the moment.
So Burn Away takes down the flyer, and in comes Seeker of the Way for 3 life.
Yeah, and I guess Matt didn't block it, because if he had blocked it with the Sage Eye Harrier, I think we would have seen Trumpet Blast from Shahar. Shahar kind of finally turning this game a little.
Yeah, Chief of the Edge. Yep.
Although we know Matt's not that far out of it, because we know when Shahar does make this nice Trumpet Blast, Matt's got that Smite to bring him back down to reality. So this is still a pretty tight one. Shahar thinking, well, he might have something. I don't really know if I want to speed Trumpet Blast or not. If he knew Matt had nothing, he'd be happy to Trumpet Blast away the Sage Eye Harrier, deal a few damage, and gain some life.
And then he's going to do the Trumpet Blast.
And we'll definitely see the Smite then. That's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Mardu Charm doesn't really do anything here.
Costa takes 5 from the War Shrieker, but that's okay.
That's okay, but he doesn't have his lifelink guy out, and he's down to 6.
So he takes 6 actually, right?
I don't think that guy's a warrior.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, he's a shaman, right?
Yeah. Shamans usually make mana. I know some flavor.
So Jeskai Wind Scout.
Pretty close game.
Yeah, even though Costa's at a precarious position life-wise, but Shahar just doesn't seem to have a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, and if all Shahar has left is the Mardu Charm. He could have Mardu Charmed the Wind Scout and gotten in, but that doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. Matt would have the option to either block, go to 3, and then swing back with the Elder, or to double block the Chief of the Edge and go to 3 and trade the Elder for the Chief. So it wouldn't have accomplished a whole lot for Shahar there, and I think he feels like his Mardu Charm can do better. And it probably can. It makes 2 1/1 warriors, right?
Yeah.
So with the Chief of the Edge, those are both 2/1s.
Right, and they get first strike for the
turn. So you're talking about he can ambush a ground creature, or he can just make 2 guys and a turn, and then maybe put up a lethal alpha if Matt gets aggressive at some point.
So Sing Bell Strike for Matt Costa. That card does not really do much of anything at this point in the game.
It's Terminate on turn 2, but it kind of fizzles out in the late game. Both players not really drawing much now, drawing a lot of lands. Although I think Shahar just drew Take-Up Arms.
Oh boy.
Yeah. If he drew that, he's in a position to basically just dump his hand in a turn here and have lethal by quite a bit, I think. You're talking about 7 guys, all of which have 2 power versus 3.
It looks like a feat of resistance for Matt Costa.
I mean, Shahar has different options. If Shahar tries to Mardu Charm to deal 4 damage to one of Matt's guys, that feat's going to be good. If Shahar just goes ahead and makes 2 1/1s here that are 2/1s with the Chief, I think that would be game by a lot. He doesn't do that, though. So the alpha plan, not the route Shahar necessarily envisions for this game.
He doesn't need much.
No, I mean, I like that play. I mean, the Chief could get bounced, and then some of the 1/1s could get eaten. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is a mistake. I mean, Matt hasn't done anything for a few turns, so it's not unreasonable to put something like a Force Away in his hand. So I think Shahar is just holding on to the Mardu Charm to finish off, let's say the Wind Scout after it blocks, after Matt Force Aways or something of that nature. I mean, clearly Shahar is going to immediately pass here because Matt blocked in such a way that he's triggering Prowess.
Right. Here comes Feat of Resistance.
And now we'll see what Shahar wants to do. He'll probably deal 4 to that Jeskai Elder in response. I don't think he wants to lose his Chief of the Elder.
Right.
It's not called Chief of the Elder.
Chief of the Edge?
Chief of the Edge, there you go. It even begins with an E. So yeah, I think Shahar is just going to deal 4 to the Jeskai Elder and keep his Chief of the Edge out.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Those will trade. Matt will take 4 and go to 2. This is a really good spot for Shahar now. Matt has to draw an answer to Chief of the Edge or he's not going to win. Even a random blocker and he loses this game. So, I mean, solid plays by Shahar. Probably the right plays because he doesn't get blown out as bad by Force Away or something as I might have, making tokens in a turn with the Mardu Charm. But, I mean, there's a lot of different cards that Matt could have had.
There you have it. Shenhar goes to 12-1-0 here at Grand Prix Ottawa.
Yeah, and Matt's still very live for Tarkir.
Matt's still very alive at 11-2-0. But, Shahar, who by his own admission said he had a very quiet year after winning the World Championship, said maybe, not that, he's like, maybe I just was like, I eased up on the gas pedal a little bit. Oh, I did an interview with him where he said this. He said, you know, he's like whatever it was, you know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I was with him. You know, he was trying to win. He showed up at a lot of Grand Prix.
Right.
I mean, sometimes
I think he maybe felt his mental edge wasn't.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I know he might have felt that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes the cards just really aren't there for you.
Right.
I mean, obviously, he won GP Houston earlier that year, and then he went and won the World Championships.
Right.
You know, clearly playing and drawing well there.
Right.
And then maybe towards the end of the year, you know, like the cards just weren't there for him.
Yeah. But, you know, is back in his groove. You know, we're coming off of, again, second place finish at Grand Prix National, playing alongside Tom Martel and Paulo Vitor Damadurosa. You know, in great shape here for another Grand Prix top 8 and heading to Worlds in just another weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a good run he's putting together. I'm sure he would like it to culminate with a good finish at Worlds.
Right. So here we get a look at Pascal Menard playing against Sam Black. Sam Black had what looked like to me one of the nuttier Jeskai decks I've seen in a while.
I didn't actually see Sam Black's deck at all, or draft.
Well, let's see. I have his list right here if you want to take a look at it.
Sure. 3 Tormenting Voice, 3 Master of the Way.
Is he playing all 3 Tormenting Voice?
Yeah, he's got the ability to draw some cards. 3 Master of the Way, 3 Tormenting Voice, 2 Treasure Cruise. So, 2 Defiant Strike. So we're at 10 of his, say, 23 spells or so already draw a card. Jeskai Banner kind of draws a card, so that's 11. He's got 1.
Never let it be said he doesn't go deep.
Hold on. Dig Through Time draws cards, that's 12. With all these tricks, we'll assume Jeskai Elder has the potential to draw cards. If you count that, we're up to 13. That is the end of it. So potentially 13 of his 23 cards can draw cards.
So he's playing Deck Yourself Jeskai.
Yeah, I like that. Turbo Deck Yourself.
Oh, a couple of we're seeing a lot of Blood-Soaked Champions in the feature match area here today.
It's a nice aggressive card. Sometimes black is controlish in this format, sometimes it's aggressive. And if you're controlish, I mean, the card is borderline unplayable, but if you're aggressive, it's a nice card.
Magic players at the 1 p.m. Sunday field. Harrisburg round 3.
Sam Black lines up some blocks. He's at 1 here.
Harrisburg round 3.
Is this going to be a blinding sprint? No. It's a Jeskai Charm. Life totals must not be correct here. Oh, he's Jeskai Charming to give him guys
Lifelink.
Yeah, lifelink. Sorry.
Which he needs really bad if he was at 1.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what he's at now. Looks like 8.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big swing.
But Pascal's at 16.
But now he's got the chance to hit with that Jeskai Elder. Maybe get a loot if he needs to do that. I don't know what he has in hand. I think I just caught a Master of the Way.
Yeah, I did too.
Master of the Way is really good. I think that card is somehow underrated.
Oh, for sure.
A lot more often than not, it's kill their best creature, draw a card. In this day and age,
Right, it's Ribbons tonight.
Yeah, that's great for 5 mana. Kill their best creature, draw a card. I know that sometimes you don't have cards in hand, but it's a slow format. On turn 5, you usually have cards in hand.
Right. And you get to make decisions about how you manage your cards in hand. There's sometimes you don't have to keep playing all your lands.
Right. In the late game, you don't need lands 8, 9, and 10 or whatever, so you can just hold them knowing you have Master of the Way in your deck and then still have it be decent if you draw it. I agree completely. I think that card is great.
Sam Black, the last undefeated player in this tournament.
It would be nice to see him go for it.
Oh man, I love it.
I don't know if I'm weird that way, but you know, whether it's football or whether it's, you know, Magic, you know, I'm just always rooting to see some team go undefeated, you know, all the way through.
Somewhere Don Schuler's got a bottle of champagne ready to pop in case Sam loses this match.
Yeah. And even though I'm a Dolphin fan, I don't know. I like to see teams try and break those records. You know, it's kind of exciting when a team is 10-0 or when a Magic player is 12-0, and you're wondering, can they go undefeated the whole way through, you know?
There's another card draw in Sam's deck. He just discarded a banner.
Yeah, I know. I did count that
you
one.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mardu Heartpiercer.
Mardu Heartpiercer. All right, I'll kill your Blood-Soaked Champion that I know is going to come back because it's that or 2 damage to you, so... Pascal's
Right,
creatures.
nothing else he can get there.
Definitely not short on toughness.
Now this could very well be in a free weapon master here.
Oh yeah, I could see that. And I don't think Sam has too many morphs, right? He's got a Sage Eye Harrier.
He's got one free weapon master.
That might be it. Definitely doesn't have... yeah, he's not playing his Canyon Lurkers. He's got a Misfire Weaver. So only 3 or so morphs in his deck.
Pascal's trying to figure out how to line up his attack. He's like, oh, I had you at 1.
Yeah.
I had you at 1.
Jeskai Charm is such a flexible card.
Yeah.
Oh, you fell behind in life? Okay, block, gain a bunch of life. Oh, you have one big guy in the way? Put it on top.
Right.
Oh, I got you low, but then you stabilized? All right, 4 damage to you.
All right. In the end, everybody attacks.
Close your eyes and turn them. My favorite play. I don't think this is going to work out great for Pascal unless the card in his hand is something. I mean, I don't know what Sam's morph is. I guess if it's not a free weaponsmith, then this isn't going to work out great for Sam. If it is a free weaponsmith, then you can see what's going to happen. He's just going to lose only the Mardu Heartpiercer, and Pascal's going to lose both the Disowned Ancestor and the Bellowing Saddlebrute.
Right.
But maybe it's not that guy. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Yep. so this is not really working out that well for Pascal. That Disowned Ancestor is going to die too. Yeah.
Wow. This is an impressive sequence of plays from Sam Black.
Yeah. The only thing Pascal really still has going is the air, but he's got Sam back down to about 4, I think. So with 2 flyers in play, so Sam's going to have to find a flyer.
Right. His Master of the Way is not. I don't know how many cards he's holding.
Oh, right. He still has that Master of the Way, huh?
Yeah.
So he's got some time because, I mean, he's going to be able to take out the Kieran, I think. Maybe not. Does he have exactly 2 or does he have 3?
I can't tell.
I got to imagine it's 3. Was the Master of the Way the last card in his hand?
I don't think so.
Because, I mean, he definitely doesn't need to take out the Sage Eye Harrier. It's all right if he's on a 4-turn clock and he's drawing cards. But if he can't take out that Alabaster Kieran, he could be in trouble.
So Master of the Way just...
It must have been.
Yeah.
Because obviously if he could play that for 3, he'd be killing Alabaster Kieran.
Right. And now Tormenting Voice.
Yeah, and you see he has no hand now, so he actually couldn't master it. That's interesting.
Right, gets in with his 3/4 Jeskai Elder.
Right. I'm not sure if I like holding back this Efreet Weaponsmith here. That could have attacked, and it's not going to block anything, right?
Right.
He doesn't really have a double block on the War Behemoth. The Jeskai Student could chump it. I don't think this is a race Sam is winning, but I think that Efreet Weaponsmith probably should have attacked.
Wow, look at this, a knock on the deck from Pascal.
Yeah, that's a little unnecessary considering...
Considering he's advantaged on the board.
The 2 flyers put Sam to 1. And,
oh, they're in turns.
oh, well that might change the strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this is the last turn, then obviously Pascal needed a point of damage to win, so that's why he's knocking. And maybe Sam's not attacking with Efreet because there's no reason to put Pascal to 8 because it's the last turn. So.
Sam saves his guy with Defiant Strike.
Okay, so it looks like Sam does have 1 more turn because he's on tap. He's starting to untap. So I don't like Sam's missed attack, maybe, unless he's just playing for the draw, which is not unreasonable.
Dig through time for Sam.
Yep.
Dig through extra turns, I think it's called.
One of the coolest things I saw in a while, yesterday I watched one of William Jensen's games, and he dug through time with exactly 7 cards in his library.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so double Demonic Tutor and then stack the rest of your deck.
Yeah.
Kind of like double Demonic, Vamp, and then stack the rest of your library. Vamp for the next 5 cards. It was really cool. Unless he has a Flying Crane technique or something, it seems unlikely. Is that lethal or is that short? I don't know if they drew or what. I don't know what just happened. I'm guessing they drew. I don't think even Treasure Cruise plus Master of the Way is 12 if the life totals are correct.
Yeah, it's a draw. So Sam remains undefeated.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate though. That's still kind of the end of that insane win streak.
Yeah.